What's going on, everybody? Kenny here, also known as Silent85, back with another deep video vlog entry. Forgive the way I look. I'm on a bit of a kick today with creating these videos. I'm really exploring my, myself, inner, and how things are going and where I'm at. And as I'm doing so in my life, the past probably close to 10 years now, I've been wanting to do some representation in videos for anybody else that may be going through the same thing, or if you've experienced it. I'm also always wanting input on how people, perceive the things I go over. So, what I've got today is 4 questions for agnostics that come from Christians. The link to these will be down below. But I identify as agnostic, and this will help me probably better understand where I'm at. So I'm going to try to keep this at 10 minutes, but we'll see. So the first question is, of the 2 possible kinds of agnostic, which kind are you? A strong agnostic who says we can't know anything for sure, or a weak agnostic who says we don't know anything for sure, but we could if we had enough evidence. You know, this it's really hard to answer this because I'm of the mind that when it comes to a literal deity, like a literal substantial deity, like watching over everything and guiding everything, um, I think I guess I would kind of count as weak on that, or maybe there's some atheism in there when it comes to me, because when it comes to like a literal God or a literal deity, as defined in, like, say, the Bible, it doesn't strike me. But at the same time, I do believe that people can have their personal gods. They can have their personal strength and divine inspiration in that regard. And speaking of divine, ooh, here is the light I offer you. But I don't know, like in a factual sense, if there is a deity, I'm gonna have to say no. But also, I believe that these stories of deities have been exaggerated from either people or things that have actually existed or still exist. Because stories tend to have a bit of an exaggeration. And I touched on this last video, but the best stories are usually exaggerated from a seed of truth. So there's that. I guess it would be a strong agnostic in that regard to answer that question. Okay, if you're the strong kind, then how do you know for sure that you can't know anything for sure? Again, that's not really relative. Um, so, okay, if you are the weak kind of agnostic, then is it not possible that we could know for sure that God exists if we had enough evidence? Yeah, I don't know here. I mean, this is actually kind of the way this is being outlined. I'm not sure that I would fall under this as agnostic, because I don't really think we can prove that a God does exist, but in a factual belief. But when it comes to people and their faith, believe to them, I believe that they believe that there is something representing a God that gives their life power, hope, and strength and guidance. For me, it's the universe, myself, social, and whatnot. Do you agree that an open minded person should be willing to look at all of the evidence? If so, then are you willing to look at the evidence for God's existence? Okay, so let me take the last part of that message, or that question, first, and then go from there. Am I willing to look at evidence for a God? Yes, but I'll tell you why. Because I think whatever evidence they would see or that would be shown would actually be evidence of something else that is being perceived as the evidence of God. Um, Now, with that said, there could also be evidence that doesn't have an actual answer. that could also be perceived as God. Like there's no way to prove that it actually happened by God, or that it actually didn't happen by God, but it's being perceived as happened by God. Again, it's really all about perspective when it comes to that point. Um, so yeah, I guess when it comes down to it, this helps me further understand that when it comes to my own mentality on this stuff, again, I'm not of the mind that there is, an actual God, but for each person, depending on how you're brought up or where you get your strength from, inner strength, hope, and faith, um, there is a God to you and for you. You know, even if it's only if it's yourself you perceive as being your own strength, and but you were raised a certain way, so it's being reflected back in like a prism kind of thing. But it's been turned on you, and so like your self image, your self confidence has been manipulated to think, no, that's God acting, that's not you. I've seen evidence of that. Um, so if you want to look at it from that standpoint, and people want to keep believing it because that's just how they are and they're set in their ways, then in that fact, God is technically going to exist because you know it's one and the same in that thought experiment. But yeah, I this is really this stuff can get so complicated, but at the same time, in here, it's so simple. Because you look at society and you look at people with these kind of questions, and I guess I'm still trying to figure out where exactly I lied. But for me, agnosticism is the best alignment that I can come up with personally. I wouldn't say I'm totally atheist because I do believe in certain supernatural aspects, like an energy to the universe, um, and a connection and being a part of something greater in that regard. So it's kind of hard to say. And this video didn't really go the way I thought it would. So it's interesting. But anyway, I'd like to hear your thoughts and input. Be sure to comment down below. Stay safe, stay sane. Remember, you're awesome. Never let the world tell you otherwise. And this was really interesting. I'll talk to you later. Peace.